In today's 300 Seconds of Science, we're learning about one of the oldest dinosaurs on record, and they were found right here in New Mexico. Check it out. Hey Justin, it's great to be back. And I'm very excited, as well as I know a lot of our children out there, they're looking forward to the answer of last week's question.
Okay, last week's question was, what is the state fossil of New Mexico and where is it found? The answer to that is the state fossil of New Mexico is Coelophysis, and it's found at a locality called Ghost Ranch.
Coelophysis. Now, that's a very interesting name, but it's longer than that.
Yes, that is the genus name. There's a species name called boweri. So the full name is Coelophysis boweri. But if that's a tongue twister, you can just call it Coelophysis.
And here we are standing in front of the exhibit where you have the real bones.
Yes.
And how far do these date back?
These Coelophysis bones actually are about 205 million years old. And so what you're actually looking at here is you're looking at a number of individuals of Coelophysis sort of laid on top of each other, so in sort of a dog pile.
Right.
And these animals, this one you're looking at right here is actually one of the best preserved examples of Coelophysis that we have. Here you have the skull, and the skull is so well preserved that you actually have little bones of the eye still in place. So you actually have this little ring here called the sclerotic ring, which I know is a big word, but that's what it's called. It's called the sclerotic ring, and it's still in place. These paper thin bits of bone are still there. And then you have the neck here, you have the forelimb, so the upper arm bone, then you have the back, the pelvis, and then each of the limbs are sort of crossed over themselves right here.
Wow. Now there's several in this exhibit, not just one.
No, you're literally looking at about half a dozen or more, and they're sort of laid on top of each other. So here's one individual. Back there we have a bit of a tail. A few up there on the top of the block are slightly larger individuals with hips and other bits of the animal's limbs, sort of all just stacked on top of each other.
That's so exciting. Now tell us a little bit about their background. What do they eat? How did they get around?
Sure. These animals were about 6 feet long, about 4 feet high, about 50 pounds. So not huge, but not too tiny either. And these animals basically ate anything they could catch. So the big ones had skulls maybe about that big,
right.
And anything they could fit in their mouth, they would try to eat it. And the cool thing about these guys, and like most early dinosaurs, is they actually had their limbs directly underneath their body due to modifications of the hips, the long bones of the leg, and the ankle and foot.
Okay, now there's a gruesome fact about these fellows. You have to share it with the kids. Kids, close your ears.
Okay, are you folks ready? Okay, here we go. Ghost Ranch actually demonstrates that Coelophysis was a cannibal, which means that the old ones ate the young ones when times were bad. So if the environment got too bad or there wasn't enough food, these guys were chomping down on their own, on the little baby ones, which is gruesome, but it does happen in nature.
Survival.
Yes, that's all you can do.
So the fact that there's so many at Ghost Ranch, what does that tell us?
That tells us that these animals are probably living together in groups, and actually you see different sizes of animals. So you have little baby ones that are maybe could fit in the palm of my hand, all the way to sort of medium-sized ones like the ones we have here, and then really, really big ones that were about 6 feet long. So really from the tiniest little guys all the way up to really, really giant ones.
And about how much did they weigh?
About 50 pounds or so. So again, they were sort of long and lightly built, but still could probably, again, chase either one of us down.
Now, in 300 Seconds of Science, what do we expect for next week?
Next week, we're going to move from the late Triassic, where we are now, over into the Jurassic, where we get these really, really giant dinosaurs, what we call the age of supergiants. And at that point, we're going to be talking about one of the largest dinosaurs that ever lived, called Seismosaurus. And next week, we want people to look up, what does the name Seismosaurus mean? And if they find the answer, email me at 300secondsofscience@gmail.com.
And they can also do their own research, right?
Yeah, please do. Go to the library, go online, look at any science books you have, or feel free to come down here to the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science and find the answer. It's hidden in our exhibits, so please come down, keep researching, and never stop learning.
Never stop. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you.
You can catch 300 Seconds of Science every Monday right here on Good Day, New Mexico. The New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science is located at 1801 Mountain Northwest. To learn about this exhibit on display, visit nmnaturalhistory.org.